The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 comes out in theaters November 20th. Want to see this movie but don't have time to rewatch all the 3 other ones leading up to this one? Well, we've got you covered. Here's everything that happens in the Hunger Games. Katniss Everdeen lives with her mother and sister in District 12, a poor community in the dystopian nation of Panem. Panem is ruled by President Snow in the wealthy and affluent capital. 75 years ago, there was a huge rebellion, and after quashing it, the government decreed that every year there will be a new Hunger Games, a battle to the death between 2 teenagers from every district. At the reaping, Katniss' sister Prim is selected, but she's like 12, so Katniss volunteers to take her place.
I volunteer! I volunteer as tribute!
Everyone's like, okay, and Katniss heads off to the capital with District 12's other tribute, Peeta Mellark. He's kinda cute and all, but Katniss isn't into it. She's still got a thing for hunky Gale. We meet some other characters, including tribute escort Effie Trinket, former Hunger Games champion, Haymitch Abernathy, and stylist Cinna. Katniss and Peeta become media darlings after Peeta declares love for Katniss on a live TV interview.
There's this one girl that I've had a crush on forever. But I don't think she actually recognized me until the reaping.
At first, she thinks he's just pretending, but then realizes, oh shit, he's serious. The games start and Peeta allies himself with career tributes from Districts 1 and 2, who have been training for the games their whole life. Katniss grabs some supplies and heads out into the forest, refusing to kill anyone herself. The people who run the game don't like that, so they manufacture a fire to force Katniss back to where the others are. She evades an attack from the careers and hides up in a tree where she meets Rue, a young girl from District 11. To escape from the careers, Katniss drops a hive of genetically altered wasps, aka tracker jackers, onto them, killing one of them and chasing the rest away. Katniss also gets stung, but she just hallucinates and passes out. After Katniss destroys the supplies the careers have been hoarding, Marvel kills Rue, which incites a riot in District 11. Remember, all the districts are watching all this play out like a more violent episode of Big Brother. Seneca Crane, the game maker, finds himself under pressure should the games not go well, but Haymitch gives him the idea of allowing 2 potential winners, as long as they're from the same district. Since the whole world wants Katniss and Peeta to end up together, this seems like it would quell the unrest. Katniss discovers Peeta wounded and tries to find him medicine. She's attacked by Clove and saved by Thresh, the other tribute from District 11. Since she was close to Rue, Thresh lets her go, and then he's killed by the wild beasts. Katniss heals Peeta, and the 2 of them fight off the remaining tributes until they're the only ones left alive. But Crane backs off his earlier pledge and says only one of them can win. Will Katniss or Peeta kill the other? Katniss convinces Peeta to take poison with her. They won't let the Capitol have their winner. The Capitol can't let this happen, so they cave in and name both Katniss and Peeta winners of the 74th Hunger Games. They get to return to District 12, but Katniss tells Peeta that they aren't really a couple and it's all just an act to keep them alive. Peeta's sad. Which brings us to the Hunger Games catching fire. President Snow visits Katniss in District 12 and tells her that he hopes her acts of defiance were out of love for Peeta and not actions against the Capitol. Haymitch tells Katniss that her and Peeta are going to have to pretend to be a couple for the rest of their lives. Katniss agrees, and her and Peeta become publicly engaged. Gale attacks a new government peacekeeper in District 12, after which he is publicly whipped. President Snow announces that the 75th Hunger Games will be the 3rd quarter quell, which means that older victors will be chosen to compete once again. Guess who's picked? Katniss and Peeta. Well, actually it's Katniss and Haymitch, but Peeta volunteers to take his place. We meet District 7's tribute, Joanna Mason, in a rather revealing way. With the majority of the players wanting to be allies with Katniss, she chooses an unlikely group. Katniss' already strained relationship with the Capitol worsens when Cinna rigs her wedding dress to turn into the Mockingjay, a symbol of the resistance, during live pre-games interviews. Right before the games begin, Peeta announces that Katniss is pregnant.
If it weren't for the baby.
It's a lie, but an effective one, since protesters throughout the districts start demanding that the games be canceled. But since we need to have a 2nd and 3rd act, they aren't, and Katniss has to watch Cinna get dragged off and beaten. The new games maker, Plutarch Heavensbee, has designed this year's games like a big circular claw, with new demented booby traps released every hour. These include things like a poisonous fog and bloodthirsty mandrills. Peeta almost dies again when he's shocked by a force field, but he's saved by District 4's Finnick Odair. They're accompanied by an old lady named Mags, who sacrifices herself to save the others. Katniss and Joanna from District 7 kill the tributes from District 1, but then Joanna thwacks Katniss over the head and leaves her. Finnick reminds Katniss that the Capitol is the real enemy, and she manages to shoot an arrow at the force field while lightning hits, thus disarming it and disabling all the TV broadcasts. It turns out this was the rebellion's big plan all along. Plutarch has been a spy for the rebellion, and he helps Katniss, Finnick, Haymitch, and Beetee escape to District 13, which is where the rebellion has set up headquarters. Peeta and Joanna were captured by the Capitol, and Gale tells Katniss that her family is safe, but that District 12 has been completely destroyed. Which brings us to The Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 1. President Coin, the leader of the rebellion, asks Katniss to be the Mockingjay, the symbol of freedom to the world. At first, she declines, but changes her mind when she sees that Peeta is being used in Capitol propaganda to help put down uprisings that are happening in every district. After being dressed up in some super cool rebel wear, Katniss heads out to District 8 with her film crew to check out a hospital. It's blown up by the Capitol right after they leave, and Katniss delivers a speech broadcast to all the districts, and the violent uprising continues. Gale tells Katniss about how District 12 was destroyed, and she sings The Hanging Tree.
Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree.
Which hit number 12 on the Billboard Top 100, but doesn't go over so well with the Capitol since it's used as a rebel anthem as District 5 destroys the Capitol's primary source of electricity. Peeta finally seems to come to his senses and warns the rebels on TV that the Capitol is about to attack District 13. The extra time gives the rebels a chance to hide out underground, and after the attack, Gale leads a team to the Capitol to rescue Peeta and the other victors. When Peeta gets back, he attacks Katniss. It turns out the Capitol brainwashed him using Tracker Jacker venom. Until they get an antidote, Peeta has to stay strapped down in solitary. The rebellion is thrilled that the victors have been rescued, and they plan their next step, which is to attack a Capitol military base in District 2. And then the movie ends. Are you gonna be checking out the new movie? Let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, let us know what recap we should do next. See you next time.